Becky, call Scoob in here.
Scoob! Hey, Scoob, come here. I want to show you something.
Okay.
Is he coming? Scoob.
There he is. There.
Okay.
All right.
Scoob, we've got a new game.
Hey, Scoob. Hey, why is it dark in here?
Lights went out. We got candles.
Yeah, I had to use my scene lighting.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's cool.
Yeah, the
sit in the circle, Scoob. We've got a fun game.
Okay.
Yeah, it's called Puigi. Puigi.
Puigi.
It must be foreign.
Yeah, it is.
It's South Korean.
It's something Becky's really been into lately.
Yeah,
so.
it's a lot of fun. Just ignore the inverted pentagram. We're fine.
You're gonna be fine.
I'm suddenly filled with various forms of distrust.
No. Here,
fine.
just put your hand on this plastic thing.
We all put it there.
Yeah. Okay, Becky, your fingers.
Okay, I put my fingers.
Okay,
yeah.
and we're just gonna move it in a slow figure 8.
Okay.
Yeah. See, it's really relaxing.
Okay. It's Scoob possessed right now. N U G G E T S.
Nuggets.
I am the devil's honey mustard.
Oh God.
Fuck?
Rotation.
I wanted a real scream from you, Angie, but that was good too. Angie's scream was more like, I knew this would happen.
Yeah, anybody who's watched me on Twitch will know it was a fake scream because.
Oh yeah, because real scream you.
Oh, the last game I played, I didn't expect it. I was like, I screamed for probably like 10 seconds. It was a legit. I had to take a break. I thought I was gonna have a heart attack. Hello, Free Rotation Nation, and welcome to the episode all about farting, flatulence.
Little did Becky
know. The funny part is I'm going to cut it up till there and they'll have no context as to what you're talking about.
That's how we work every episode.
That's right.
We
and
just,
horror games.
We just talk for hours and hours and you splice it together. Kind of like a fucking Smosh
That's pretty
mashup.
much it, yeah.
Horror game?
But yeah, this episode is going to be all about horror tabletop games.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, 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 dun. Joining me today is the ever disapproving Becky.
As usual.
The ever
She is a true high elf.
Yeah.
The ever disapproving Becky, you foul more.
Yes. The devil's honey mustard Scoob.
That sounds
Bring
so
me the
gross.
nuggets of the humans.
That actually sounds disgusting if you think about
I
it.
am the lord of the nuggets.
Who are you, Lur? From Omicron,
love me tendies.
from Omicron Persei.
Don't love me rough, love me tendies.
Oh Jesus!
Love my tendies.
You sound like a possessed pirate. Love me tendies, say mighty.
Blow me, please.
Whoa.
I was Moreland a week ago.
Got a little desperate there.
All right.
And
No, you want to see desperate? Look at you.
I'm not desperate anymore.
Not anymore.
Okay.
the king of Splash Mountain Moreland.
Hey!
Is that okay to keep, or do you need another intro? Okay.
Veto, keep it in. I don't give a shit if anybody likes it.
I'm okay with it.
This week we are discussing horror games, tabletop horrors. Scoob doesn't often play these with us.
Because I'm not a dumbass. Well,
Well,
He doesn't like to get possessed.
devil's honey mustard. I don't know why that came.
Yeah.
It tastes like honey mustard?
A little bit.
A little salty.
A little salty, a little honey
A
mustard.
little diabetes.
Yeah.
It's a little
Okay.
diabetes. Once again, as I said before, the only thing light on me starts with the word Celia.
Anyway.
So I would like to start by discussing what we consider horror games.
Anything I have to play and anytime Becky sits down at this table.
See, our definitions for horror games are different. Scoob's is
Not horror games,
I'm sorry, what?
Becky, well-known player of the horror games.
I had a birthday, got older, and suddenly became my mom.
including hide the sausage. Put your dirk in my burqa. And how many humps do I have versus this Campbell? Becky, the purveyor of horror games. That's the only way the joke works. Fuck off. You purveyor of horror games. It's like the X Games, but someone couldn't spell and forgot the other two.
We are hiring for new hosts.
Yes. Why? So you can leave? 'Cause this
No, I will be the other host. Don't worry.
Bringing us back to horror because she's going to kill us off.
Like a good horror movie, you
Stay
kill them
Farm is
off.
there.
Actually, that's not a joke. I wonder if anyone's ever actually like thought about the life insurance premiums people in horror movies have.
Right?
I have, actually.
Freaking-
And I'm like, man, their family rates are going up.
You're moving to Elm Street? Oh, that's another $5,000 a year.
That's like, I drive a red Corvette. Oh, your insurance is fuck you. That's what it is.
Is
You
your
bought a-
daughter a virgin? No. $10,000 extra.
Really? No, that usually keeps them alive. No, that's right.
Not
Yeah.
a virgin.
It
yet.
depends on the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, it depends on the movie.
Scoob doesn't play a lot of
Stop
horror
it.
games with us, but he does get hurt a lot in real life, so he kind of makes up for it.
It does.
But Scoob, Betrayal at House on a Hill is a horror game,
I can
and you
do,
really like that one.
I can do that one. I haven't played the one where you Jack the Ripper.
Mm-hmm.
I really want to play that one because I
Letters
love
at Whitechapel.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because I really
And-
want to build Jack the Ripper in Dean DeFuck, or actually,
Oh yeah.
I watched
And the
Rachel.
leathers at Whitechapel. Back to Moreland's episode.
Right?
The leathers.
Must be the Becky version.
Purveyor
And
of
her-
the horror games.
For horror games.
It's full circle. So, Letters to Whitechapel is a lot of fun. You have one person who plays as Jack the Ripper. And he commits a murder. He has to commit X amount of murders. You can choose not to kill one night. You can choose to kill a night. But you're always trying to make it back to your hideout.
No, you always kill a night, but on one night you kill, move to another location,
And you have to kill two.
again.
Let me preface this before we start talking about Letters from Whitechapel. We are not going to get the rules correct because every time we've played this game, the rules have changed somehow.
It's true.
It's magical. It's like literally we look
Every
through
time
it,
you read it, I swear to God, it
yeah,
changes.
You look through the rule book and you're like, well, this is a rule.
It's like,
Well,
oh, wait.
we never.
Well,
figured that
they
out.
never did
And
catch
the-
Jack the Ripper. Maybe that's
No,
the
it's
bit.
true.
Maybe the
Well,
book is magical.
And the thing is, you choose your hideout somewhere, and the inspectors are trying to find either you in the act. They can be at the square where you're supposed to kill. They can catch you on the way, or they can find your hideout and get you there. And each day you go back to your hideout and you go out at night. So they're trying to catch you before the 7th day when Jack the Ripper finished killing
Was it 7 or 5?
whatever, however many days.
I
It
think
could be any. We don't know. We have the rules
I
have
think there
probably
was a
changed at
longer
this point.
game.
I,
It was a longer version.
maybe I think it was the short version is 5 days.
5 days. And you-
Because night 1 you kill 1, night 2 you kill 1, night 3 you kill 2.
2.
You kill 1, move to another location, kill another,
Mhm.
and then night 4 you kill 1, night 5.
And so, of course, during the day, you're trying to get back to your hideout. The police are looking for you, and it's just really complicated. It gets more and more complicated, especially if you're the inspectors. It is a really hard game.
Oh, it is.
At Jack the Ripper, you can pretty much climb walls. You have vehicles on your side. Now, the police have a lot of movement,
Oh yeah.
but Jack the Ripper can go down alleyways that the police can't go down.
Yep.
Because he did get away in real life, and he probably utilized these things.
And he's got stagecoaches that he can use to get away.
And there's different murder sites. So it is the murder sites where Jack the Ripper actually committed his murders.
Now this board is massive too. There's
Oh,
like
it is
150
enormous.
locations you can be walking
It's
around.
the
looking
actual
out.
like London.
Yeah, it's London when in Whitechapel when
Mm-hmm.
the murders were actually committed. Now the game is actually based on Fury of Dracula, which is another horror game, but it has the same mechanics as Fury of Dracula.
And we've never played Fury of Dracula. We got it secondary to Letters from Whitechapel, and I think Letters from Whitechapel made us so salty.
Well, there's
But
also.
I'm willing to play it again.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's just really freaking hard. Because I think Angie's the only one that actually ever got away. And every time Angie's on the other team, she always catches us.
Yeah.
So
Sometimes it's luck, and sometimes it's just
it's sometimes
you can find clues and that you can pick up.
Yeah, you can pick up and set down clue tokens. Jack also has the ability to set false clue tokens. On like night 3 or 4, he can send out a letter that confuses people, but we never played with the letters because it was
Right.
confusing.
Yeah,
us.
we could never
Yeah.
get because that was for advanced gameplay, and we never made it past beginning gameplay just
Right.
because we never understood the rules to begin with.
And I'll give you a secret. The reason that it's really good to anticipate where the Jack the Ripper is moving is because each night there's certain things available, like there's 2 cars or maybe one car to help you. And I always go by the fact that people are going to use our cars. So then if you just map out pretty much where they could go and where the murders are and how quickly they got back to their hideout, because Jack announces when he's back in his hideout.
Yes.
So if you, it's like cards. If you count the squares, you can pretty much determine
About where they were when they
Yeah.
about where they killed and somewhere.
And when
about
I
where
was
they were.
Jack the Ripper, I walked side by side with the police.
It-
I literally was either right behind,
she
in
showed
between,
us-
in
yeah.
front.
She showed us her log, and I'm like, this sucks. And she did a smart thing. She used all her movement on every single one of her turns. She used every
Yeah.
single bit.
I would backtrack. So that way you couldn't say, well, that took really short distance to get there.
Right.
And the one time I did, I took both cars back to back, so it looked like I got there quickly, but it's just because I used the cars.
Yep.
And my hideout was literally right beside the police.
And it was gross. And I cried.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Jake.
and I'm like,
Jake
I've never
had me
played this again.
pinpointed at one point. And
I forget who
Amber.
talked him out of it.
Amber.
Amber.
Of course.
Amber was like, there's no way she's up there. She's not right in front of us. I was literally the square beside Jake.
Yep.
If he had called me there, I would have been arrested because
I was about to say,
I was
all-
close
all-
enough to be arrested.
All he had to do was move over one space. He's like, I know. He's like, I know she's right here. All I have to do is move over one space, and Amber talked him out of it.
And said no, and so she pulled everybody over into this east side, and I was up north.
Yep.
So she even, there was only like one night left after that.
There was no
Yeah.
catching you after that.
No,
Because I think you had
No.
even planned it to where the murder you were going to do
was
like,
right beside my hideout.
Yeah, it was right beside it. So you could,
Take a car and get there.
Yeah.
It was over.
yeah, there was no way to catch you.
Once
Like
a-
the real Jack the Ripper.
Once again, Jake's deduction skills completely off-roaded
Yeah.
by a fat person.
That is not wrong.
And he was like,
in any sort of
he
capacity.
even pegged down to which hideout. Now, if you call a hideout and you're wrong as the inspectors, it's not an automatic loss, but you lose the option to do it again. You can only call the hideout out once.
So then you could, in theory, go use that hideout, and there's nothing to do.
Basically,
Yeah.
you camp the hideout, and
You would have to get there and hope you're right.
because Jack the Ripper can't cross the path of
Right.
officer.
That's why I couldn't get away, because Becky was in front of me, Jake was behind me, and Amber was off in Toodaloo land. And I think you were right there.
I was right there. Jake's like, go here, do this, and if she's not there, I go here, do this.
and he's like,
and-
if she's
and
not there, she's going to be up here.
Yeah.
And I was stuck between him and Becky, but they both went the other way.
And it was some Amber was close, but Jake needed her to do this, and she didn't do that. So
And I got away.
Yeah. The game itself is complicated. I think if they streamlined the rules a little bit, it would be a lot easier. I think it was like a
Yeah.
foreign company that created it because it was based on Fury of Dracula, which is the same premise, but you're hunting Dracula all over Europe.
Yeah.
But Fury of
so
Dracula is actually a lot easier than Letters
Because
from
you don't have
Whitechapel.
alleyways and cars. Those things through
you've
such a
got-
glitch.
Yeah, you've got planes and buses and or
Only
planes
because
and trains
they,
that you can take.
they added that because of the time period it takes place in.
And I also think that
Yeah.
with Fury of Dracula, you also have abilities like Van Helsing has an ability. So you don't. The thing with the inspectors is that you didn't have any other ability other than to travel fast enough to get around.
Yeah, and the chief inspector Jake was the chief inspector, but there was no option for him to make Amber do what he said.
Right.
So you would think as the person in control, he could be like, no, you have to do this. I'm
Right.
calling it out.
It's an order.
Nope, that's probably what really happened in real life.
Yeah. It probably actually is. Because there was the one inspector who was pretty sure he had a good hunch, but he wasn't allowed to go on
Makes
it.
me want to go home and watch From Hell.
Yeah, I like the story of. I don't like the story of Jack the Ripper, but I think it's the first unsolved mystery that perpetuated what. This is totally off topic. Perpetuated what would become modern criminal investigations and forensic investigations, because for the time being, I mean, in the area there was nobody really cared because it was whores and the poor and all that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, he preyed on the lesser cared about wrong of society, so no one cares. And you see that in you see stuff like that now just go sort
Right.
of off.
They're pretty sure at this point they know who Jack the Ripper was, because at the same time the killing stopped there was, you remember they sent people from England over here, the criminals. We were colonized mostly as a prison colonies. And there was a guy who came here, and suddenly the same serial killing style started up here. But the U.S. caught him, and killed him. I can't remember his name, but it's just interesting in the same time frame. Taken from here, sent here, no more killing here, same style killing here.
Kind of works out. That reminds me, I got in a couple copies of Assassin's Creed Syndicate at work, and they have that Jack the Ripper DLC. So in their universe, Jack the Ripper is actually one of the assassins, like Assassin's Creed.
Oh, that's cool.
So imagine Jack the Ripper is with Ezio's powers, but he's complete. Like, he also has a fear meter and smoke bombs and shit. So that's fucking unsettling.
Yeah.
Just a little bit, yeah.
I think it's interesting to play games like that, too, because it really puts you in the perspective of what it could have been like. It's more of a simplified version, obviously, but the idea that as an inspector, because I mostly played the inspector, the fact that you are in such a huge area with very little to go on, because you don't have modern forensics with blood and being able to DNA and all of that. You have to basically go on the information you've been given where these murders have happened with very little information other than the fact that he is somewhere in this area.
And so the lead inspector can say, I want you to start at this murder site, you to start at this one, but if Jack the Ripper didn't choose those, you could be like the entire board across from the murder and never reach it by the next day.
Yeah, and you only had those few people from the Scotland Yard being able to investigate it, and if you didn't anticipate when the next murder was going to happen, you were kind of screwed. You didn't have anything.
Yeah. You know what an interesting theory about Jack the Ripper I read was that he was that inspector who was chasing him. He was Jack the Ripper, and what happened was he had gone into a rage because you remember he was dating one of the prostitutes that was killed.
Right, yeah.
And he had gone into a rage and dissociated his identity. He had an identity break.
Ooh.
And I thought that was an interesting...
That reminds me of the take on it's a DC animated movie, Gotham by Gaslight. It takes place during that time, and Batman is chasing Jack the Ripper, and they think it's Bruce Wayne because of Batman and all the... and Selena Kyle's one of the working girls, and spoiler alert for this, guess who Jack the Ripper turns out to be?
Who?
Joker.
Nope.
Robin.
That universe is James Gordon.
Oh.
Commissioner Gordon, yeah.
So they took the police inspector theory. That's good.
And his wife is completely complicit to it.
Yeah.
And, like, it's a weird, like, Stockholmian...
Yeah.
Because he, like, beats her, but it's like, it's because I was full of sin and evil, and that's why he's killing him.
That's exactly what
that's
this Jack the Ripper theory is. They took it. Oh, that's good. I gotta watch that.
It was in, like, the $5 bin, I think, at
that's
Walmart,
good.
but I'll loan it to you.
Yeah, I would say if you want more information on Jack the Ripper on a podcast, as much as it's abrasive and its humor is actually kind of worse than ours, last podcast on the left did, like, an in-depth 5-part episode about Jack the Ripper and every theory that came from Jack the Ripper.
Because he's like one of the most well-known serial murderers.
He's like the
in the
first true serial killer.
I thought that was H.H. Holmes, or he might be the first American.
No, the first unsolved one. Like the first one that...
I've got some documentary
the first
on
one
serial
with the
killers.
modern, for the time, the modern updated police techniques.
Yes.
It was documented. He, like, got into contact with the press. It was the first one that was widely reported.
Yeah, it was one of the... that's, I think, why it's such a big deal and why games now... Like, even just talking about a tabletop game, it's why it's so recognizable and why playing games like that, to me, are... It's not just horror in itself, but the idea that this is what people were living through.
I mean, look through how we brought up this game, and we've chased this rabbit to here, and it's like, wow, fascinating.
Yeah. So,
and that's not an indictment on chasing the rabbit. That was more of me pointing out, hey, look.
Well, it does leave you with... after you play the game, whether you're the inspector, Jack the Ripper, no matter what the ending is, you just have such a sense of unease.
You're right.
Yeah.
Like,
and as in, like, an inspector, kind of a sense of non-worth anymore. Yeah. Like, you're kind of worthless.
When you don't catch Jack, you're just like...
Yeah, this is like, we've done all we could, and we have no idea where this man is. And
no clue.
And, yeah, it's just... It's so weird to think that... This is probably how they felt when they couldn't figure out who it was.
Yeah. To have not really any clues.
Yeah.
To kind of suspect where he might be. Get the letters and just like, you have no idea.
Right. You got nothing, yeah.
So, yeah, let's talk about a game that's not so depressing.
Okay, let's talk about Betrayal at House on a Hill.
Is
the Trail at House on the Hill?
Is that the one where you play through a certain point, certain things happen, you build the house, and then it's fucking 6 months of having to figure it out?
So it's a B movie. It's a B movie basically, where you go into a haunted house, and as depending on what player you have different abilities that are higher and lower with mental and physical abilities.
You have like couple jocks, an investigator with a gun,
a
somebody-
psychic,
Yeah.
old people, young people,
and you flip over
little girls and little boys who all sound the same.
because Moreland.
Yes.
Because in everything we do, we add a fucking narrative because we can't not.
Because it's us.
Yeah.
So, and also I want to preface, like, Fury of Dracula and Letters from Whitechapel, they have tabletop episodes from Will Wheaton, if you've ever watched Will Wheaton's Tabletop. A lot of these games we're going to talk about probably also are on tabletop, so if you ever want to go watch a playthrough...
These are definitely worth watching. This
Yeah.
YouTube series, I would recommend it 100%.
They're either on tabletop or the backlog streams of
Geek and Sundry.
Geek and Sundry's tabletop.
Yeah.
The tabletop day that they do.
Oh, yeah, International Tabletop Day. Yeah.
One of the best tabletops, which we're going to talk about this horror game as well, is Last Night on Earth, is with Felicia Day.
Oh, Dr. Hannah.
I've never seen Will Wheaton get so mad at her.
But yeah, let's talk about Betrayal.
Okay.
Betrayal, we've all played, I think, maybe minus Scoob. I think we've played multiple times with Betrayal.
I've played it
we've
2-3 times.
Yeah.
No, we've all played multiple times.
Yeah. So with the game of Betrayal,
It starts with a foyer.
and as you go through the house, you could go upstairs, downstairs, in a basement.
You have a movement speed, and
Into the
that's
roof.
how many
Into the
rooms,
roof.
unless you hit a room with a haunt or some sort of
You either hit an event, item, or
Omen.
omen, that's it.
Yeah, if you hit
And a certain amount of omens, you have to roll the dice.
right,
And you have
well,
to-
every omen you roll 6 dice, 6 of the 8.
You have to beat however many omens are in play.
Right.
Because each time you explore a room, there could be something that happens, like an event where you see a ghostly woman walk through, or the house tries to kill you.
The
Or you
room's
fi-
on fire.
Or
Yeah.
you find a weapon.
And the omen that you flip that time, if you don't do it, that is the omen that generally starts the haunt. So
The
once you become
take
familiar with these,
yeah, you take the omen that
the room you're in.
the omen and the room you're in, and you look for what it is. It'll give you the haunt number. It'll give you the haunt number, and you look, and it'll say who the traitor is.
And then there's 2 books. The traitor will take one,
And the heroes will
and the
have
heroes have the other
yeah,
one.
this one is one of those, like, you play the game, and then it enters phase 2 when the haunt starts.
Right,
Yes.
and that's what makes this game so good for multiple playthroughs, because
it
there's like
changes.
100 haunts that you can
And
hit.
then there's
If you get the,
expansions.
yeah, I was about to say, if you get the
Yeah.
expansions, you've got at
It's
least
even-
100 different haunts.
Yeah,
So everything
the
changes.
game is so replayable.
It is
So
fantastic.
basically what happens is, as you're exploring
But you're
the Omen...
you're gonna want to set up a large chunk of time to play.
Yeah,
FNG.
because
Yes.
And a
it's
large
a couple
table
hours.
area.
Yeah.
It's easily 2 to 3 hours.
Yeah,
But
if
it's
it takes a while for the haunt to happen too, you can go through your deck and build the whole house. So
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
We
which isn't such a bad thing, because some of these haunts are, you need to discover this room and get this item to this room, and having the house explored all the way, you're not trying to like go through rooms blindly to
Yeah.
find them.
Well, and the
Exactly.
last time we played, the haunt Moreland triggered was a higher mathematic haunt.
Yeah, you basically it was the person was in a room. You were no longer playing, but everybody else was. Every time your turn came up, a counter ticked down, and as the people discovered more and more
What
rooms.
is that number square called? I can't remember.
I did it wasn't the Fibonacci sequence.
It was Fibonacci.
But it was the 1 2 4 6 8 16 and then something else.
So you had to actually be familiar with the Fibonacci sequences and how they worked to be able to figure out this haunt.
Which
Right.
most of us were not familiar with that.
Yeah.
Oh, nobody was. I won that one because and what it was is every time they went into a room or started in a room with one of my traps, they either started in a room with one of my traps and the trap either went off or the trap didn't go off. If the trap didn't go off, that was one of their cues. Oh, there's something wrong. There's something up with this number. Which they didn't catch on to.
Yeah, none of
Yeah.
it made any sense by the end of it. I think all of us were sitting there like,
You guys had finally, I think it was actually Scoob, who at the end of it had figured out something about the rooms.
Somebody had figured out something. Becky moved through my room. She stopped, debated on stopping in that
That's
room,
it.
and then
Yeah.
moved one more.
And when she did that, she lost the game.
Yes.
She had no idea, but if she had stopped right there, they would have won.
If she had-
Accidentally.
yeah, it would have been a pure accident, but I just didn't know. I was just
Yeah.
like, I kept thinking that I had to do something with like based on where the room was located? Because if some people just don't know stuff like the Fibonacci sequence.
The room's randomized too. When they set off a trap, the house would reset itself.
Right.
I was sitting there pacing back and forth because Becky was debating, and I'm like, oh,
I
no,
know,
please,
it's like
please,
the one.
please,
It's the one
please.
time I really
And
went
I was
against
like, stop there.
I know, it was like the one time I went against my instinct because my instinct was to stop, but then I was like, no, it just doesn't make any sense to stop here at this point. But it does because
Which is also interesting that the higher thinking part of our brains probably told her this is where
Yeah.
it had figured out the Fibonacci sequence, and it was probably like, you need to stop here.
You need to stay here.
But
you
our
need to stay in
conscious
this
part
safe room.
is way stupider
Yeah.
than our higher
That's true.
thinking.
Because I was hiding in one of the rooms without a trap.
weren't you like a little kid too? You were like the little kid with a Fibonacci sequence.
I was
I
the
would like
little
to point
girl.
out that, like I said, a lot of times we just add shit to a narrative to amuse ourselves.
Exactly.
Because wasn't there one where Jake, which inspired Elvis, he was just an old man who had
No,
massive...
Mansions of Madness, which is
That was
another
Mad-
good
okay.
horror
We
game.
can move on to Mansions of Madness because I love this whole series, the Mansions of Madness universe.
Mhm.
It's like playing an RPG board game.
It's incredible. And you don't have to role play your character, but it's more fun if you do.
Yeah, everybody got into their character.
Mm-hmm.
And
And
Jake more so than anybody
everything
else.
that could happen to a character happened to Jake, but because of an item we gave him, he could never drop below 1 sanity.
Now, do you want to explain what Mansions of Madness, the gameplay is exactly?
Mansions of Madness it's your game master has already set it up. If he's good, he'll have already set it up, or she. And you come and you pick a character card, and your character. It's just like Betrayal at House on the Hill. You have different abilities and skills and so on and so forth.
But it's a Lovecraftian
Yeah, that's
it
it's a
setting.
Lovecraftian set, yeah.
But with Mansions of Madness, it's like it's a tabletop RPG where you do have a game master, or if you have the newer version, you
and
have
the
it
story is
DM'd.
already it can DM through your phone.
Yeah.
But the storyline is already laid out, and you're on a clock. It's a countdown, tick tick tick, and you have to do X amount of things and solve a mystery.
Yeah, so you might have cultists who are trying to attack you, Cthulhu.
Cthulhu's coming through.
Yeah, so you have certain items and certain abilities that help you discover what the mystery
And
of this
it's
mansion is.
always a horror theme.
Yeah. But Jake discovered that through dementia, schizophrenia, and wetting his
Schizophrenia.
pants,
Schizophrenia.
he can basically win us
He
the
had
game.
a movement speed of 1. His sanity was at a 1. We'd given him an item he couldn't drop below 1 sanity. So the game master tried so hard to kill him, was working on him, and then just couldn't. So at the end of the game, Jake's character, even though he only had 1 movement speed, was able just to walk past. Oh, he also had an item where monsters over a certain level couldn't touch him. They couldn't even see him.
He was basically Grandpa Joe from
He was-
Willy Wonka that was our tank.
So, I mean, they're after us trying to kill us. We managed it. We were in the house trying to put in a cursed projector. We needed to put a film reel on it.
Mm-hmm.
We were on the last night. We were like throwing shit. Our characters were throwing stuff. Josiah had a dog that could move the extra spaces. So Becky's character got the film reel to me. I had one thing. I ran into the room. I gave it to Josiah, who gave it to his dog. No, Josiah had to move out into a room with a lot of monsters. Well, they were all in my line of sight. I was a magician. I could freeze them for 1 round. So I was able to freeze the monsters so he could move between them to give it to the dog, to run it to Jake's character, who was able to put it on the reel and win the game at the last minute. Now, his character the entire game had only gotten up the stairs.
He had literally taken naps
He
on the
moved
like,
so slowly. And then he was pretty much insane. But that was where So we would be searching in the bathroom for a clue, and Jake's character...
He's like in the kitchen on the first floor.
And he's calling for Bertha to change his colonoscopy bag.
Which led to most of his elvish character in
Yes.
Spaghetti and Chicken Wings.
It did
Colostomy
inspire...
bag?
Yeah, but he called it a colonoscopy bag, remember?
I just had an idea for a tabletop game.
He's like, where's my pudding?
All he did, he barely
It
moved.
was hilarious.
We would be in like one side of the house, on the other side of the house by the time he even made it up the
entire
stairs.
freaking house, and he hadn't even made it up the stairs yet. His movement speed was 1.
I just picture him like running around this haunted house in a walker with the tennis balls on
Oh,
the feet.
that's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
Because the very first thing to happened to him. He had a movement speed to start of like 3.
Uh-huh.
But then the game master rolled something. Suddenly, boom, he had a movement speed of 1.
Oh, man.
So he got to this top of the stairs, and we were all like back down the stairs, running around the house. He was like,
I think if you have
"I'm
a
just
stat,
gonna take it." He was Dr. Hannah
and if you
for
have
all
a,
intents and purposes.
if you have a stat they hit 0 of the 3 or 4 stats, you die.
That's it. But he couldn't drop sanity and since the Game Master couldn't kill him, he had to keep focusing him. Because the Game Master is also locked into certain rules. He couldn't target the others of us until he finished off one, because he had already locked onto that one. So it was just funny how this senile old man won the game for us.
I had the idea for a tabletop game while we discussed this. Mm-hmm. It's like House at Betrayal, but they have the house tile deck, but you're a person that buys a house and you're going to flip it.
Oh, that's good.
But it's a Cthulhu or a House on the Betrayal house.
Oh.
And every time you I'm going to go put in kitchen cabinets, and you find a ghost in the cabinets, and you got to deal with that shit.
Oh,
I want this
funny.
game. I want it called Flips and Frights.
Scoob, make it. Copyrighted by Running Joke Media. Scoob, make it. Let's do it. Let's make this game, Flips and Frights.
Oh my god!
Are you
Brought to you by-
so you're house flipping?
If there is
you
a
buy-
game about building the perfect pizza slice, that
Yeah.
No. Like the
Pizza's
bit,
not a sandwich.
here's hashtag 2018. Here's the bit. The game is you're all house flippers. Buy the house.
We bought
a house,
it's already been bought
and you're gonna
rotten.
flip, and you get stuff like omen cards and stuff like that. And all of a sudden you're like, ancient Indian burial ground where the house is built on. Get the Exodus. Don't tell the new people
Do you know what this
about it.
reminds me of?
What?
Bad Tommy.
Was it Bad Tommy or Bad Billy?
Bad Billy. No, Bad Billy.
Bad Ben?
Bad Ben.
So we
Bad-
Flips and Frights. Copyright
Anyways,
Running Joke
no,
Media.
Bad Ben. What's Bad Ben?
Bad Ben is a movie that wasn't supposed to be funny. It was probably the funniest movie I've ever seen.
It was pretty funny.
It was a guy who bought a house and he was going to flip it.
Mm-hmm.
And as he's going through, he's like, man, these people left everything they owned here. There's about $10,000 worth of electronics in here.
And it's and he bought
And
the Amityville Horror House.
He did,
basically.
and the house is haunted. So he walks in and he's like, this is some good shit. But he's older and he's cranky.
Mm-hmm.
And he doesn't want to acknowledge, he thinks somebody keeps breaking in the house and slamming doors and stuff. And he gets locked outside, I don't know how many times. And he's exploring his property and he goes out back and he finds a grave and it's marked Ben. And he takes a cross off and he kicks the rocks and he's like, well, I don't need anybody seeing this when they buy it. So he goes
Having
in,
never seen this movie, this is exactly what the game should be.
he takes a little toy from the grave and he goes and he looks through an outside shed and he finds bloody baby clothes and a shovel and
And
knives
his whole
locked
bit
away.
is he's flipping this house.
So he doesn't want people to know. He's like, I'm gonna pretend and he's videotaping it. It's like a found footage type thing.
Gotcha.
He's recording it all. Just it's like he has an Instagram he goes live on.
Gotcha.
And he's just like, I better just throw these out. I don't. It doesn't mean anything happened here. Well, and and when he first moved in, he threw the Bible and all the crosses on the wall away. What? So he's sitting there, and the toy cranks itself up and starts playing. He's like, and he's on the phone. Okay, he'd installed all these security cameras. So the guy from the security company called him, was like, I can't remember his name, but they're like, he's like, I think your house is haunted, actually. And he sends him the footage of, the door closing by itself and, stuff moving.
No, just the wind.
No, but he's like, and I thought he would be one of those people who kept denying he had a ghost, but no, he fully accepted it. He's like, I got a ghost, okay. He's like, well, I bought the house. You're going to have to get out. I can't afford for you to stay. I really need to sell the house. So it's like, no. And he goes in his room at night and it beats the shit out of him. Mm-hmm. So he's like, okay. He's like, you want to play it this way? Fine. And so he washes his face off. And he goes down and he takes all Ben's shit and he buries it in the yard. And he's like, don't you fuck with me? I'll fuck with you. You're not going to fuck with me. You're not going to run me out of a house I bought. Blah, 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 blah,
And
blah.
why is this not a comedy?
Right?
It was. But
No, on purpose.
you can tell it didn't intend to be. But that movie was so funny. Well, it ends with him getting dragged away by Ben. He manages to get into a door in the basement he wasn't able to go into. And he gets dragged away. And it's like the end of Paranormal Activity where he's just gone. You're like, oh, shit, he died.
Okay.
Well, the second movie they called Batter Ben because they realized, okay, that movie was really funny and people loved it. And
so they changed gears and realized.
It made it funny, but it wasn't nearly as funny as the first one because the first one was unintentionally
It was
funny.
unintentionally funny, yeah.
But that guy was the funniest guy. So they're doing a reality show in the house and they bring him back to talk about his experiences because they find out he's alive.
Mm-hmm.
And they bring him in and he's
Yeah,
like,
because nothing bad means nothing bad happened to
nothing
him,
bad's
right?
going to happen here. He was like, Ben still lives here. He's going to get you. You better, be careful. So just shit happens, and she's a psychic, and she opens up the house to get some experiences. And it goes through much as you'd expect. He survives at the end. Once again, he's naked. So when the second one starts...
Once again,
he comes up the stairs.
Once again, he's naked. I didn't know he was naked the first time.
Yeah, well, it shows, like, when he survived the first time, he comes up, and Ben's, like, ripped all his clothes off.
Gotcha.
And this one ends where he and Ben just decide that they can live together. Ben's like a really bad devil child.
Right.
It's like the Odd Couple, the paranormal version.
It really is. But when it goes off, it's got these advertisements, and he started his own ghost busting business. And
this movie was so ridiculous on so many levels.
And this woman calls in to him, and he's like advertising. He called her, and he's like, "Ma'am, I really think that you should get out of your house." And he's like, "There's fucking doors opening right behind you." Because he's like monologuing what he's in. He's like, "Oh shit, oh she's fucking dead." Next.
It's like Tinder.
So I mean, I think that game would be perfect.
Oh yeah.
This reminds me of that movie Tucker and Dale versus Evil.
Oh Jesus, I love that movie.
The best movie.
The premise of the movie is two redneck best friends buy a house, or they're gonna flip it. It's basically
what is it like?
It's the Cabin in the Woods house.
In the Woods, yeah.
They buy it and they just
the Evil Dead.
Evil Dead. And they have this
and they see the shit going on outside, and they're like,
"No, there's nothing spooky happening.
Nothing spooky happening. Some
they're
teenagers,
just fucking bumbling morons and just bad luck."
Well, some teenagers come up to the house.
They think they're murderous rednecks because of how they meet in a general store. And there's one scene where the one guy has like earphones on because he's weed eating something, or he's next to a wood chipper,
or no, he has a chainsaw
or something.
He's trying to start a chainsaw,
and he's in
but they're not doing anything wrong, and these kids just think that
they
think
are
they're crazy
because they're like they went skinny dipping. The teens went skinny dipping, and the guys were going. I think they were gigging frogs, just to give you an idea.
Yeah.
And they were gigging frogs, and they were fucking gigging frogs, and they saw her skinny dipping, and she like fell, hit her head on a rock, so they took her to nurse her back to health. But they're stupid, so all they wrote is, "We have your friend," and then there's no context. So the fucking teens are like, "Oh, we gotta save our friend. She's the hot one."
That's right. I forgot about that.
Well, she falls in love with
And like they trip over something and fall in the wood chipper.
No, they're running full on. They have a little bullshit penknife, Swiss Army knife. They're running full speed at the one, and he just like, "Oh, I dropped a quarter." He like bends over, and they fucking run full speed and gets us into the wood chipper. But it doesn't go all the way in the wood chipper. He catches him at like the waist.
So the other friends come around the corner and just see him. It looks like he's feeding him into a wood chipper.
And then the sheriff shows up as he's got this half a teenager. He's like, "What the fuck?"
He's like, "I don't know. He just ran it on into the wood chipper."
So the sheriff goes in the house, and there's this one loose board. Like, he steps on the floor, and it triggers a Rube Goldberg effect and hits it, and he catches a fucking long-ass nail right in the middle of the head or the side of the head, and it fucking kills the sheriff. But when he stumbles out of the house, it looks like in the position where they would have hit him with the nail board, and they're like, "Oh my god!"
And they're starting to think that these kids are like trying to kill them.
Yeah,
exactly.
And then it turns out one of them is just anti-redneck, and he's like the preppy. He's like Chad.
Tucker or Dale he's trying to start a chainsaw.
The fat one or the skinny one? Because there's a fat one and a skinny one.
I don't remember which one it is.
It's like if Ren and Stimpy were people. This is that movie.
He gets the chainsaw cranked finally, and he's waving it to the other one. He's like, "I got it cranked. But
all the kids see is like this leather face fucking waving chainsaw horse.
The black guy runs. He's running dead on. He runs. He's looking behind him. He runs dead into a branch
the tree
that just impales him.
Oh yeah. You know what?
And Tucker and Dale keep finding these dead kids all around. They're like, "What is going on with these kids?"
And the friend of that they took is falling in love with the fat guy. And the skinny one of the two keeps getting hurt. Like, he accidentally cuts his own finger off. Like, he gets the fucking injuries, and the fat one's like, "I got you, buddy."
You know what?
Have you seen this? Have you not seen this, Becky?
No, I've seen it. We watched it.
Oh,
But
God, I need to go watch. I want this in my DVD
because
collection.
I think like horror games do so well with like B-movie ideas. Like Tucker and Dale would be kind of a hilarious like tabletop
That's
game.
a better game than the house flip game.
Well, I was gonna say
the house flip game is a great idea.
Yeah, that's a great idea. You got to survive house flipping, a possessed haunted house. That's fucking hilarious.
But nothing bad bad happens to you, just unfortunate shit like you buy pastel paints and the fucking ghost paints it a different color, a different shade.
It's
Like,
just annoyances. This would be a
do
great
you-
Steam game.
Do you fix this or do you just let it happen? And at the
It
end,
all
like,
increases and decreases
Yeah,
the value
no, yeah,
of the house.
yeah, at the last-
It's not a horror game. It's just you trying
oh,
to
it's
sell
a
the
horror
house.
game if you're
Yeah.
an interior designer.
And you
Your
gotta
house
live in a
flipper.
state. Live in a state in which you don't have to like tell anybody that the house is haunted or anything
No,
like that.
that's how the WinCon. You have to, but you have to decide: do I
But they
tell them
have
or
to
do I
buy
not?
it anyway.
It-
And
it-
maybe you can have an app on the phone that tracks with it to
And you install pastel green walls, increase the value $10,000.
the
ghost
ghost
paints it-
vomits. Oh,
the
and
go-
if the ghost vomits pea green, they can't see it.
The ghost,
Keep the value.
the ghost, the ghost somehow manages to make all the carpet torn up and shag minus $5,000.
Oh
No,
no,
value of the
man.
house.
That's
that
that's
nasty
good.
wood paneling from the
Yeah.
70s. Oh. No open floor plan.
Wait, no.
Oh.
And like the second to last turn, it's like, or no, the second turn of the game after you buy the house, you flip it vengeful ghost or just a random spirit.
Oh, good.
If it's vengeful
that's
ghost,
good.
then
He's just
bad shit
killing all your
happen.
stuff.
So it
Yeah.
gives you a storyline at the end of
Yeah.
what happens to the
Oh,
family
the
you
vengeful
flip.
ghost is like trying to kill you. So do you get your house flipped and sold before it kills you?
No. You don't die.
No, you don't
The-
die. You do everything. But then when
Nobody-
you sell the house,
Do they
that's
die?
what happens to the
No,
family.
nobody dies.
Yeah.
There's no death. This is not that kind of horror game.
This is so Scoob.
No.
Yes.
Nobody dies.
No, the horror part of the game.
Everyone lives,
the horror part
nobody
of the game
dies.
is you're trying to flip this house and like not work at McDonald's for the rest of your fucking
No,
life.
I just think it would be funny, like at the end, whether it turned out to be a vengeful spirit or something, like the family actually gets murdered in the house or something like that.
no,
that you flipped.
No, or
Becky finds that funny.
Right?
or
Or if it's just a random spirit that nothing really happens, like a little poltergeist.
or the family flipped, or the family only stayed in the house for a week and it's back on the market. And
You're
you
like,
have to
"God
buy it."
damn.
And you have to buy it back.
Oh,
But you buy it at a
God.
lower price because
No,
you got to get out.
The ghost keeps opening doors, so you have to make the decision. Do you subtract value from the house by removing all the doors?
Or just
Or do you keep the doors
or
and tell
even
them there's
better,
a draft?
or even better, do an open floor plan so you have no doors.
Yeah, and
Oh.
it takes money from your budget and adds time to to the time you are working on
Oh,
it.
yeah.
And you have an
Yes.
open house.
Oh yeah, because it's like
this is very
like,
queer
love
eye
it
for the
or
straight
list
guy
it.
right now. But this is
No,
the
no,
best
Nobody
game.
else can steal this game idea.
This is love it or list it because
Right.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
game.
Yeah.
Oh my
Haunted
God.
or listed. But no, you know what I was thinking about?
Haunt Couture. Then you're just a fashion designer.
oh that's good.
Angie, we need to do
We're
this.
doing it, Scoob.
Holy shit.
These are all copyright ideas by
Copyright
Running Joke
2018
Media.
Running Joke
2
Media.
weeks later, they forget about it.
I know.
No, 2 weeks later, you
You're
see
giving
on
us
our
a lot
fucking
of credit for 2 weeks.
2 weeks, 10
They've
minutes.
forgotten 6 hours ago.
This is true.
Hey, Last Night on Earth is a good B-movie
Last
game.
Night on Earth is a phenomenal game.
Do they flip houses?
No, you played
No,
Last
but
Night
they
on
flip
Earth.
I
their
know.
shit.
Yeah.
And Last Night on Earth it's your last night on Earth.
Last
Zombies
Night on
have
Earth
taken
is
over.
freaking
Is that the
rough.
one that has
It is hard.
the bags, the little, you can buy the
That's
bags of
Zombicide.
zombies? Oh,
No,
no.
that's not sad.
It can get pretty nasty like Zombicide. So you have one team that plays as the zombies, one team that plays as the survivors. You have one night to get through.
Yeah, you'll have to like find the gas can to get the gas to put in the car.
Get
to
the
fill up.
keys.
I know
Or
I
get to
played.
the
I thought this was
helicopter.
one where it's like roll 2d6. You put that many zombies on board.
Oh, yeah, that is it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's also Zombicide. But
Oh, okay.
all the bags of zombies is also Zombicide.
Okay.
Yeah. The bags of zombies just help because
And Run, Fight, or Die has a lot of zombies too.
I was about to say, Zombicide is just like, it's literally you are committing zombie genocide.
Yeah.
So you are trying to kill zombies, so they need a lot of zombies.
But with Last Night on Earth, it is themed to be a B-movie game.
Yeah.
Like you're in a B-movie
No,
horror-
I've played it. I know.
With
I'm
B
just
movie
trying to-
characters like your cheerleader,
The
the
cheerleader,
jock,
the jock,
the doctor, the
professor.
priest.
the hardware store owner.
Yeah.
like,
Let me
just-
tell you how hard this game is. It's playing with people who don't know how to play any sort of game.
Okay, but
Like,
that's
same
not how
person
hard.
screwed this game up.
That's not how hard the game is. That's how you don't pick people to play
Imagine the
with.
same person who
But this
messed up
game
Jack
is
the Ripper
super
messes
hard.
up Last Night on Earth.
Oh, well, that's not hard to figure out.
This is what we were talking about when Will Wheaton had a playthrough of it. Felicia Day, you move the zombies that you place on the board.
Because you
And-
are playing
and-
as the zombies.
yeah, and they decided you move half, I move half. Well, Felicia decided
She had Dr. Hannah.
because a zombie
Loaded in a hospital.
spawned in the hospital. She left it in the
Oh,
hospital.
no, he chased somebody in there and then remembered he was Dr. Hannah.
Yeah.
So he was like, he remembered when he saved a woman's life on this table. a time when he didn't eat brains. And Dr. Hannah, every turn, just moved back and forth
He
in
went
the
and
hospital.
checked the microwave to see if there was leftovers. He
So-
went to read a magazine.
Yeah, he took a nap on the couch. And Will's like, come out, Felicia. We can stop them from escaping. That's the only time they escape. So I think that's the only time I've ever seen the zombies lose.
Ooh,
It-
other alternate game.
Okay.
What is it?
No, it's terrible. I don't want to play it.
You are the zombies, and you're running from the humans.
Oh.
It's literally the
They
flip
misunderstand you, and
Yeah.
they're trying to kill you.
Yeah, it's the flip to this.
Oh, kind of like that movie, Zombie?
Warm Bodies.
Warm Bodies.
Warm
yeah.
bodies, yeah.
I love that movie.
Oh,
too.
it was a fantastic movie.
I loved it.
You have to be a job in normal society and resist the urge to eat brains.
Oh,
like
kinda
iZombie.
iZombie,
Yeah, like
yeah.
Zombie, yeah.
Poor
Oh,
Scoob. He's like, I'm coming up with these ideas.
And no
Zombies
one
are
gives
like
a fuck.
overdone at this point.
iZombie is really good. Well, yeah, because think of the games. We've got Run, Fight, or Die,
Mm-hmm.
zombies.
Zombicide.
Last Night on Earth.
Last Night on Earth.
Dead
Dead,
of
of Winter,
Winter.
which we need to talk about Dead of Winter.
You have the Grim Green Commander
There's
deck.
Die, 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 which
Yeah.
is zombies.
yeah. And
Well,
then,
I've noticed that over the last few years, it's like, and we'll pick this supernatural being, and that's what it is. Vampires.
yeah.
Zombies.
yeah, zombies, werewolves.
Yeah.
Spookies.
Spookers. I like to call them spookers now.
Spoofies.
That just sounds racist.
But Dead of Winter is also zombies.
Yeah,
so,
that's what I said. That's why I think I like the Lovecraftian ones and the Eldritch horrors.
Because no one fucks with
Like,
Cthulhu.
like Elder Sign.
I want to talk about Elder Sign
Or shove-
because every time we play
shove
Elder
nigger
Sign,
up.
I had the most fucked up dreams afterwards
Really?
because you're trying to stop Cthulhu and them from coming through. You have to find X
Cthulhu,
amount of Elder
Hastur,
Sign,
all the Elder gods.
and it is super hard.
Oh Jesus! Is
The
The
hard.
dice rolling is
Then you
difficult.
need to play. You need to play one of the South Park games. I think it's Fractured But Whole because Cartman is dressed up in his character the Coon, and he like meets Cthulhu because you can do certain things and Cthulhu will do his Cthulhu thing, cast the world in the darkness. He's like, "Who's a good Cthulhu? Who's a?" And it's Cartman's voice. So it's like, "Here's a good."
It,
Respect my Cthulhu tie.
as I say, that's just in the actual show. It's not in Fractured.
No, I thought it was in. I thought they paid Dom to in the game.
Ah,
Well, then you need to watch that episode of South Park
I will now. I absolutely will.
because he
it's,
treats
it's
it.
a great episode.
Because I know your favorite thing was like, "Can he spin it down?" Imagine, but the cat is just Cthulhu. That's how he talks to the cat.
Oh no! No. Cartman's the one acting like the cat because he
Oh yeah, he
crawls
does.
He crawls around
he
on it and
makes
purrs.
biscuits
Oh.
in Cthulhu.
Yeah, and
Because he's
just-
in his costume.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because he's in the coon costume.
you're right. I thought they had it in the game then.
Did you prefer Dead of Winter or did you prefer Last Night on Earth?
I like both of them. I loved Last Night on Earth. When you go into the game knowing that your chance of winning is like 18% maybe,
And
You
you just can't stress out about it.
Well, so Dead
it's
of Winter is
funny.
kind of the same way because it's
Dead of Winter is a bit more stressful
It
because
is
it has
stressful.
the traitor element.
I'm about to say, doesn't
Right.
that have
And you
the
have to have
survival
medicine,
aspect?
food, take your fucking trash out.
Yeah,
You've got to go
don't
survival
get caught
hunting.
because you could turn into a zombie.
It's basically like playing The Walking Dead, but
Yeah.
in the dead of winter.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
phenomenal. I've
And if
played
you have a
once.
traitor who messes up like a food or medicine supply,
You all could
start
die.
starving.
Yeah.
it is.
you can also
that's
have like a
stressful game.
tyrant take over the entire camp.
There's
you
Yeah.
you can have just
Wait,
useless
You can have people
show
versus
up.
people.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
the
got to
survivors.
because you got to feed people. You got to decide if you're going to kill
That's
people
right.
off.
Do you take sick people back to your camp and waste your medicine, or
Does-
do you leave them out to die? If you put them out to die, you lose like morale points, and if you lose X morale points,
You lose
you
the
lose
game.
the game.
There's so many
regardless of
ways
how-
to lose the game.
Does-
It's awful.
Does Dread count as a horror game?
Dread count.
Dread is
Yes.
a good. Yeah,
Dread definitely counts as
As
Dread's
the-
your RPG.
As the person who runs the Dread games in the group, which I've got a new one ready.
And Dread runs off of a Jenga tower.
Yeah, so
So
if you're
any-
worried about
it-
rolling dice, if you can play Jenga, you got this shit.
Does-
Anytime you have to make a difficult decision,
Scoob.
you pull 1 to 2 Jenga.
does your new story intertwine with the other stuff that you
Yeah,
made?
because every story I ever tell in any game I make intertwines.
Okay, so you're still stuck in my head.
Yeah, I'm okay. So first of all,
Can I
Moreland's an
still
asshole.
fly?
And turned into a dragon.
Maybe not. So okay, so the last time we played was
Scoob.
before Kayla came back. My character died in the first game of the game I was running. Well,
He was the bad guy, and he made bad decisions
no,
like giving us our own vehicles.
with our own weapons that we have in our vehicles.
and I, but the way you do it is like you have basic human abilities, run, jump. But if you want to make different decisions, it's make a pull, 2 pulls, or I even house ruled multiple pulls from the tower.
Or if it's something just like scary as shit, if you can keep your calm.
Yeah, so you have to make a pull from the Jenga tower because the Jenga tower represents your fear, your ability to succeed on it, and if Geek and Sundry has a series of Dread campaigns they've run before, so you can look it up on like Project Alpha
to watch it be played
and also
properly.
Tabletop Gaming. Will Wheaton did a Dread campaign where they were
they did one of the
kayaking
standard
down
ones,
the Grand Canyon, and then there were werewolves.
Yeah,
in the
there
canyon.
are standard play, like you can build a character for it to play. Scoob just decided we all played ourselves
because I'm lazy, and I still have the character sheets, but I was like, I really want to play us in the Dread universe.
right?
Yeah.
And
I've enjoyed both our games of that, so...
Yeah.
it gets stressful.
The
It
old-
gets
Very
really
stressful.
Oh,
stressful.
no, it does, especially because Becky got so stressed she fucking clotheslined the tower, even though...
I just killed myself because there was nothing I could do.
No, we gave you shit because you could have just said, I'm going to voluntarily fail this pull, but you just said, nope, fuck the tower, and knocked it over.
Well,
because
it was
that's an
better
option
for
of
me
the
to
game.
go ahead and knock the tower over and rebuild it for everybody else because regardless of what happened
So
after
if
me,
the tower
somebody else
gets
was going to
knocked
fall.
over, you build it and you pull X amount of
For the
Jenga
dead
things
players
from it.
versus-
Yeah, so to me, it made more sense to knock the tower because the next person who pulled anyways was going to knock the tower.
I ran a Dread campaign, and we played ourselves, and it was like our first cabin trip. I took us back there.
Angie pulled a
And
combat system out of her ass.
It
and
was so like just suspenseful that I've got pictures of Jake pacing, like because he's got to make Jenga pool.
we were playing at Heroes, and
Yeah.
we were fucking around like, oh my god, we're yelling and fucking. And there's only the 5
Yeah,
of us
I
dead.
think- and I was
It's
the only-
stressful.
Becky got decapitated.
I was the only one who got killed that one. I
Becky
got
got
decapitated.
But her head was put on a bat, and like
it swung around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would like
Which one I was fine
And-
with because let me
But
tell you something.
Angie was being a cannibal and eating the rest of the body. Like, what the...
Let me tell you something,
No
though.
use.
Let me tell you, the most relief from stress I've ever had in a game is when I died in Dread. Like, I
because
was
you
like,
were
oh,
you were no longer
Yeah.
physically
I don't
invested.
have to. Yeah, I don't have to be
you
stressed
have
out.
the storyline stress, and then you've got the stress of pulling the Jenga,
Oh, if you're shit at Jenga, play
Yeah.
Dread.
and then
Moreland-
that tower starts wobbling, and you're like, oh god.
Moreland had to hide from this giant.
Oh God, that was so scary.
No, so
Right?
I made this character, and he was a Mongoloid. I forget. Cletus was his name. No,
Yeah,
Festus. It was
Festus.
Festus.
Festus,
Shout out to Gallows and Anderson. Follow us.
right?
Good brothers.
Yep.
So I made it, and Moreland jumped behind the snack vendor
I
cart
jumped
thing.
I jumped into the...
the snack shack.
The snack
Yeah.
shack.
Because it was at a carnival, because that was the whole bit.
Yeah.
And
Oh, my God.
He's right there with a giant axe, and I'm like, okay, Moreland. He
sl-
slams
We've
the
all
axe.
rolled under the cars, and we're watching like, oh my
Moreland
god, oh my
didn't
god.
make it because Moreland didn't run
Yeah, Moreland
fast
was
enough.
still investigating something, and
I
He,
know,
he
I
was
was-
in the trailer.
No, I was in the snack shack. I was getting snacks for the walk because all the cars were dead.
That's
all the
right,
batteries
yeah.
Oh,
were
yeah,
gone
we
and
were just
everything.
gonna walk
So
back.
we rolled under
I was
the
like,
car.
This
and
was
we're-
also the second game when I learned. Or no, this was the end
This
of the
was
first game.
first game.
Well, you were because you had created a haunted house, like a haunted house. For
The whole
Halloween.
bit was I was going to end up killing them, and things went drastically awry. And in typical Scoob fashion, I pulled one out of my ass.
Hey, it's fine.
It was
worked.
entertaining. I think you guys enjoyed
But
it.
Moreland
Yeah.
survived in the snack cart.
Because-
And,
okay.
I threw a rock and distracted the guy to come our way.
Yeah.
You threw a dice.
Yeah,
Yes,
you
had-
had a pocket full of
That's
D20s
right.
because I accepted
Yeah.
it. So the guy slams his axe or shovel down and he goes, thwack. I'm like, okay, Moreland, you have 2 options. You can either eek and take a run and try to like overpower him and run for
Or
it,
pull 3 Jenga
or pull
blocks.
2 or 3. I forget what
We
it
were
was.
just like, hell no, we're gonna help Moreland if we can do it.
I'm like, I'm pulling.
No,
you
he had to do
you
this
had
to determine whether he eked or not.
yeah.
Well, no, I think you said 3, but then we were like,
Yeah,
on the
you
last
guys-
one, we were like, we're gonna throw a rock to distract
yeah,
him.
you guys
Yeah.
helped, so it gave him
It
sort
gave
of
him
a
a little
pseudo
bit-
advantage.
And
Yeah.
of course, since he wasn't the brightest, he went running. Noise.
Yeah, he did.
Because
So-
I remember, I think I was creeping around the cars. Like, I think you threw it one way, and then I ended up throwing another one another way and creeped around the car trying to keep him out of it.
So Moreland makes the pull, and the tower goes shimmy, shimmy, and just
all
on
of
the
us were like,
slightest shimmy.
do not touch
like,
the tower.
Becky, I swear to God, Becky reverse farted. she
I
sucked
know-
in so much air
If
at
you
once, it farted internally.
I think if you saw, like, at the very end of our last stream on Thursday where I was playing Home Sweet Home and I had my hand over my face and I was freaking out.
That was Becky
That
right
was
there.
me watching this direct because I'm like,
On
Moreland's going to
on
die.
Jenga pulls.
Moreland's going to die. Moreland's going to die. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
I'm sitting there. I'm over there. I'm cool. I'm calm. I'm collective. I push it out and I get the thing out. and it wiggles a little bit. I'm like, no, we're good. Take the piece out. And
I like how
put it on
Moreland was
top.
acting
yeah,
like
when
he's
he
so
tell-
cool, but Moreland was like,
But no, yeah, when Moreland tells the story,
That was
he's
you making those.
No,
No,
and Jake
no,
is
you
like,
were too.
Oh God, oh God, oh God.
yeah, and you were doing it too. You were kind of like, I think it was your second one. It almost knocked the tower over.
The second, the first one is like, I got this, and then.
But the
first
second one, you almost knocked Tyra over, and you about lost your fucking shit.
Yeah, just a little.
So
bit.
then the Mongoloid Festus runs over, and because I wasn't making pulls, obviously, is the
Oh, because Jake, was it Jake who was hiding in the car? Somebody was in a car, and you were trying to get to them.
It was Jake.
yeah, and he left the door locked, and because I didn't want to blow my cover, Festus fucking killed me.
Yep.
Yeah.
I even went so far as to like.
He role played himself talking to Festus, and he's like, "Hey Festus, hey buddy."
Thwack, thwack,
And we're like,
thwack.
"Scoob,
I know,
no."
so funny. 'Cause
No,
he's like,
that's not what you did.
No, no,
I
no,
even
no,
went
no,
for
no,
the.
no,
I
no.
even went for the died, and it's
Oh
like,
yeah, that's
I'm
what.
gurgling and I'm not dead, and Angie's like, nope, fuck it, leave
Yeah,
him.
remember?
Fuck it.
And
Like,
we
he's
watched,
dead, we're
we,
just
yeah,
really-
we watched
Death Gurgle.
Scoob die. We were all like, "Oh my God, Scoob died!" And he
No,
was
they were like, "Do we take him with him?" I'm like, "No, he's
Yeah,
dead."
"No, none of
Angie's
us
like-
agreed." We were
Angie's-
like, "No," because
No,
Jake
but the
asked.
point is, yeah, Jake said it. Like, at least take
And they
his
were like,
body.
"No, we
and
can't
Angie's
carry
like, nope,
him."
leave him
I
behind.
said, "It's too late for him. Let's
No,
go."
literally, he goes, yeah, a last
Scoob
spurt
was
of blood.
like my death gurgle, and I'm like, I look at you guys, I'm like, yeah, it's too late for him. Let's go.
No, she absolutely did. Angie went complete tactical, which is
No,
fine.
And me being me, I'm like, yep, let's go, Angie.
I know, I agree.
By the
I
way,
was
Moreland
like, nah,
also
he's
took
dead.
his snacks with him in the run of fear.
Let me tell you, we
Yeah,
were.
I did.
It was
And
a
then we're
long
going
walk.
down the road, so Scoob has Jeffrey, who's a really good friend of ours, and he's in the woods, but he's coming through
He
the
was
woods
going to be
at
a
you
cultist, and Angie shot him in
a
the
cloak.
head.
I'm like, I'm going to shoot him in the head before he even gets close.
Like,
And he did.
We didn't know it was Jeffrey to begin with because
Yeah.
he's like, there's a shadowy figure
But
walking
even
up
if
toward
I
you.
had known,
Even
Yeah,
if
he
walking
had
through
done
the
this-
woods in a cloak.
Yeah, I
But
know
for
Scoob-
Jeffrey, that's like Aiden in his bathrobe.
No,
So
that's true.
Well,
that's true.
no, it was funny because Scoob had this like sweet note and all this stuff, and Angie was like, if he was trying to do something nice, he would have said, "Hey guys, I'm here to visit."
Not have been because I only saw it on a perception check.
I was about to say we would
on a
have
perception pull, yeah.
Yeah,
we would have had Jeffrey with
because
us.
he would have been like, wait up, wait up.
I was about to say yeah, he would have had
He was
we
up
would
to
have had Jeffrey
shenanigans.
with us to
But
begin with.
I passed a big perception check. See him creeping through the woods.
Yeah.
I'm shooting him.
There was also
Yeah.
there was also two cops that were gonna like turn out to be a separate subplot.
Yeah,
Fucking saw
and
through
I was
that.
like, don't get in the cop car.
I have advantage in convenience
yeah, no, I was
stores.
getting there.
Yeah,
They
I was
found
like, why
a
would you put us
random
in
gas-
the back? Oh.
They found a random gas station, and Becky's like,
I think Moreland, you and I stayed up on the hill.
yeah.
We stayed back because
Becky-
you were covered in blood,
Yeah.
and I just stayed back with you just so we were
So
separated.
Jake and Becky went down.
Becky's
this
like-
was some funny shit.
Becky goes, I have a natural advantage in convenience stores. I'm like, that's kind of racist. She goes, no, my dad used to own a convenience store. I'm like, and when
Because
and-
Festus was coming at us, I'm like, no, man, I know my convenience store. I'm gonna get around this shit.
so she like threw a chip rack down,
Oh
and
yeah, I
he
threw
fumbled.
one of those like thing like to knock it over.
the big donut.
Yeah.
and what we
donut
didn't know
snack
was that
cakes.
shop owner was supportive of Festus.
Yeah.
Like it was
No.
his mom or something.
it was his mom.
You totally like a Friday the 13th.
I did it. So Festus runs out and sees the cops. So the mom watches these cops with shotguns blow away Festus. Well, in his death throes, he takes. Oh no, they live. But the mom goes, kill me too. And I think
Okay.
Angie or somebody walked up and killed the bitch because
Yeah.
she realized bitch was crazy.
Yeah.
And the cops
Well,
took
she
you
was
back.
she was set fire to the store, and Becky and Jake couldn't get out because she was standing there like waving.
This is what happened when Scoob has to pull a plot out of his ass.
so I just.
but it was a good plot, I think.
It was-
And then
it
the
was a good
cops were
plot.
like, "Get into the car, and we'll take you back to the police station." I was like, "We'll wait on the ambulance."
No, I go then. No, I asked.
I
him,
lawyered it too, because
I-
you were like, get in the back of the cop car.
It
I
was-
No,
said,
I did not. I said, "Do not get in the back
No,
of
no,
the
no,
cop
no.
car."
I said that too, because I said there's no reason for us to be sitting in the back of a cop
Yeah.
car. We're not being arrested.
Yeah.
You said it tactfully, like you knew. Becky was like,
Yeah.
"We're not being detained. We're fine."
Oh, and I go. Can you guys call my mom? Because they
Exactly.
And I know
it was-
Moreland's back history, so I was like, "Fuck."
It,
All right,
it
well,
was
that
it
goes.
was
Yeah.
it was down where it was down
Yeah.
toward where I live. I'm like, can you guys just call my mom? Because I didn't have my cell phone. I'm like,
Yeah, because I had a jammer and all this.
Oh
kind of
yeah,
shit.
he had a jammer. The funny part was he's like, "There's not really any internet, any signal." I'm like, "Hold on, I got a hotspot. Let me
got
call
a hotspot, hold on.
911." And I dialed 911 through my
I will
phone.
tell you, the first one, they let me get away with a lot of creative fuck ups and bullshit.
Red.
Hey, Scoob.
Hey, Scoob.
when are we
Where-
gonna do the end of fuck?
You can find us randomly on Twitch when I have days off, and Becky does too, since she knows how to work the machine and my brain hurts.
What does your brain have to do with anything?
Hey.
Wait.
How long were you waiting on
Wait.
I forgot about it for a
Let's set it
second.
up in like the trio. Hey.
that? Hey.
Becky, where can they find us?
You can find us on Facebook. Actually, you know what?
Hold on. Okay, go for it.
No, I was gonna say I should ask you, like, I should say, like, you should say Facebook, and I'll say it, like, you go Facebook.
But inquisitive, like, Facebook?
Okay. Can you help me cock Minaj?
Sure, why not?
No, it's
It
Gobly
sounds
Minaj.
fun. It's
Gobly
Gobly
Minaj.
Gobly Minaj. Let's
Gobly
go.
Minaj. Let's go. Hey, Becky, where can they find us?
You can find us on Facebook
Facebook!
at the Free Rotation Podcast. You can find us on Twitter at the Free Rotation. You can find us on Instagram at the Free Rotation Podcast. We're also on Twitch and YouTube at the Free Rotation. If you want to listen to us on your favorite podcast apps, we're on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, Google Play, and every other podcast app out there. And we have a website, and it's TheFreeRotation.com. And Gobly Minaj, what are we an affiliate of?
We are an affiliate on Twitch.
And
We be geeks. I forgot.
I actually
I did
forgot.
the voice and I forgot.
The voice kind of throws everybody off. But yeah, we're a Twitch affiliate, so please, if you have a Twitch or
Amazon Prime.
if you have an Amazon Prime account, you get one free Twitch subscription a month. So
Free trip subscription.
So you could support us, get some better equipment, maybe help Moreland hit that real high note one day. If you go ahead and subscribe to us on Twitch, or if you want to throw $5 at us, we have some really funny emotes up there right now.
Wait, they can throw money at us?
Yeah, throw money at us.
Oh, that's awesome.
But yeah, anything else?
I have another PSA.
Scoob's got a PSA.
Scoop's got to pee.
Also that too. Also pee. Also Scoop has to pee. You ready?
What's the PSA, Scoob?
What is it, Scoop?
Never think you have a good D&D idea and mention to Moreland he gets to do a stupid voice.
'Cause it's gonna hurt your ears.
It's gonna hurt me.
Yay, Dan to fuck.
I want to do this voice.
A goblin rogue.
Want to do
This voice.
that voice I was doing just a second ago.